Hello, I think we are finally streaming here. I was having some issues. Let me double check to make sure we're up on YouTube here for a sec. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm your host, AJ Garcia. Looks like I think we are finally streaming here. Looks like we're golden. We're on YouTube. I believe we're on Rumble. Yep, looks like we're on everything. So thank you guys for joining me today. It is day 27 of the Donald Trump, Iran, and Israel war today. Uh, things have kind of calmed down a little bit. It seems that the weekend is typically when things kind of pick up and the chaos kind of starts to cook up and then the markets are closed. I think that's probably a big reason why most of the action happens on the weekends. But we did have some developments today, and we're going to go over X. President Trump spoke quite a bit today. Um, he did have a cabinet meeting today. It was his first major one since the strikes began. He basically said that he wanted Iran to get serious or face even heavier hits when it comes to the negotiations. He also extended the deadline for the opening of the Strait of Hormuz by 10 more days. So we're looking at a window of about probably April 5th or 6th when Trump is looking to, when he wants an answer. My opinion, which we'll get into, is I feel like this is all just distractions. And maybe within 24 to 36 hours, Friday night for us, Saturday, we may be seeing some sort of increased strikes, possibly an incursion. Or they might be able to, they might wait it out till next weekend. So we'll see. There is some funny clips I want to share about Trump, and we'll view on X some of those things. I made a couple of shorts. There's a funny one there I want to show you guys. But in other big news, 1,000 more troops from the 82nd Airborne are deploying to the region as backup. Basically, the White House says that Iran must accept unconditional surrender. I don't know if they used that word today, but they basically said they must accept military defeat or get hit harder. Tehran, however, on the other hand, is warning of, quote, surprises if ground forces do move in. All the while, oil futures are spiking, and there's a whole controversy about that, about the fuel prices, and was there inside information shared? Because it seemed like there was a lot of profitable trades done before Trump made some of his announcements the last 2 days in regards to fuel. There's a little bit of news in the Russia-Ukraine front as well, so we'll get into that. And then Trump had, I believe he was celebrating Greek Heritage Week or Heritage Day, so or Independence Day, that's what it was. So he had some sound bites there as well. And then we also are going to be checking in on the scoreboard here. Let me update the scoreboard. So we had Texas and Purdue, 2-point win by Purdue. Texas almost was able to pull that off in San Jose. And then over Nebraska, Ty Schmidt from the Pat McAfee show must be really, really happy. 77-71 win over Will Compton's Nebraska squad. So that was big. Let's refresh. This isn't good. This should be refreshing. Sorry, folks. I don't want you guys to get a crappy. This delay? What? Weird. Delayed. Well, I have it on the TV behind me, so we'll have the scores up. So right now we got Illinois, Houston, Arkansas, Arizona. So let's hop on over to X and see what we got going on over here. Oh wow, I don't know if I'm frozen. I guess we're not on Twitch. Let me double check Rumble, see if we're good still. I don't think I'm on Rumble, so that's unfortunate. Let's watch this video while I figure my life out.
Replaces Jones there. Jose Ramirez with a towering drive. Deep right center, and this ball gone!
Ramirez got power, man. That guy is hell of a third baseman.
Blast to the berm, well beyond the wall in right center. And Cleveland's got a 2-0 lead here in inning number 1. Replaces Jones there. Jose Ramirez with a towering drive. Deep right center, and this ball gone!
Yeah, we're on Rumble. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, that's enough of that. Cool. So let's explore a little bit. The White House, yeah, let's go to the White House. They're posting really weird, cryptic tweets. It looked like it was Caroline Levitt. Then there's one of Trump, one of Caroline Levitt's feet, and it's saying, "Yeah, we should drop the bomb," things like that. And then what was this? 1 hour ago, Trump flipping off the camera. Is there any grok unpixelize this? Let's see. Is that who we think it is? Laura Loomer is demanding that the president immediately fire Tulsi Gabbard, saying that she should not be given the dignity of resignation. Loomer says she's personally determined that Tulsi is not qualified to produce intelligent reports.
Who's the boss? People get fired. But it's time for President Trump and the Trump administration to, put the moral clarity hammer down and reassert, as you said, who's the boss. And sometimes when you have to reassert who's the boss, people get fired. And I personally think it's a moral abomination that Tulsi Gabbard has not issued a statement condemning Joe Kent leaking to Max Blumenthal, leaking to Tucker Carlson, leaking to Candace Owens. And it's an abomination that Tulsi Gabbard, who had the audacity to speak at Charlie Kirk's memorial, has not condemned Joe Kent, her interim chief of staff, saying that he will testify to aid the assassin of Charlie Kirk. So I don't even think President Trump should give her the dignity of a resignation. I think that Tulsi Gabbard should be fired. And that's my position tonight through this interview.
Hot takes from Laura Loomer. I mean, so this is the, can you depixelate the image of Trump? And this is what Grok came up with. Kind of funny. Yeah, so what's going on with these White House? Sorry, so I'm making sure we're not on Kick, but I think we're on Twitch and everything else. Twitch, Rumble. Yeah, okay, good. That's fine. All right, the White House. Let's check out their tweet. So this is 9 minutes ago. Damn, they're just being so weird. Let's go all the way back to last night, and they deleted one of the stupid tweets. Man, they're tweeting a lot. Jeez Louise. This is the first one. So here you can just kind of vaguely, briefly make out an American flag. Trying to catch it at the, here it is. So it's an American flag with vertical stripes instead of a horizontal, kind of weird. A lot of people were saying, is this something to do, have something to do with a false flag? Or are they hinting at a false flag? Did someone, Tiffany said, are y'all being fucking weird? Suleiman said, blackmail.
Soon, right?
This is the one that got deleted.
It's launching soon, right?
So it sounds like she's saying it's launching soon, right? And that's supposed to be Carolyn Levitt's feet and her dress that she was wearing, I believe, yesterday. So that is very strange. We'll go over some of these sound bites from the airports are a mess. I want to focus on these weird tweets for now. See, here's 7 hours ago. What is Trump doing? Is he showing someone the Monica Lewinsky chair? I mean, I don't know. It's just a pixelated image of him. So only females can compete in men's sports. Nice. Okay. I'm glad that's figured out now. He got approved. Mark Wayne Mullen got approved to be the new DHS secretary.
We're thrilled to swear in our new Secretary of Homeland Security, the great American
UFC fighter. I think he had 1 or 2 fights. Almost beat up the Teamsters union leader 2 years ago, I think, challenging him to a fight. He's got a bit of a temper, but
to put it mildly, Mark Wayne Mullen. There's one man for this job, and I have no doubt he's going to be fantastic.
But I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same. And we will do that. No one's going to outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
So, you want to knock on wood that he's not worse than Kristi Noem, but we'll see. Tulsi, this is who Laura Loomer was just talking about, asking for her head on a platter, basically. White House retweeted her today. It says, protecting our nation, 6 hours ago, protecting our nation's most sensitive information from those who seek to exploit it while making sure our intelligence professionals have the tools and access to that they need to do their jobs is not optional. It's essential to our national security. Over the past year, have taken meaningful steps to begin fulfilling that responsibility through the largest IC-wide technological investment and monetization effort in history. Okay, great. Is that what this says? Cybersecurity. Oh man, does this mean they're going to be spying on us some more? Let's take a look. Let's see what Grok has to say and what the comments are. Greek Independence Day. President Trump calling. Oh, I missed his interview on the 5. Tulsi Gabbard announces first post year. Yeah, it's probably so they can spy on people that are disagreeing with the government. That's probably what they're going to push towards, honestly. Net immigration fell. So promises made, promises kept. I gotta at Nick Fuentes this. Sure he'll get a kick.
In terms of making America great and keeping America great. And when you have lunatics with nuclear weapons and the power is beyond belief, I will tell you, as a president, I get to see it. My uncle was a great professor at MIT, and he knew more about nuclear at the time than anybody. He told me stories that were horrible in terms of the power, both beautiful in terms of putting it to good use, but really bad for destruction purposes. And when you have lunatics with nuclear, his statements from years ago were, he really got it. He really got it. He was a highly respected man. He was there for 41 years at MIT as a great professor, and he told me about a thing called nuclear. And at the time, nobody knew too much about it, and he said exactly what it was all about. And we're going to have a nuclear weapon, and they could do tremendous damage not only to the Middle East and Israel, but also to our country because we would be next. And I said, we're going to take a little detour and we're going to go and we're going to knock them out. And that's what we've done. We have the greatest military in the world. And it started with the B-2 bombers, which made it impossible for them to do the nuclear. They would have had, if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers like 8 months ago, if we didn't do that, they would have right now a nuclear weapon and they would have used it by this time. And it also happened with Barack Hussein Obama, if you've ever heard of him. Barack Hussein Obama, terrible president, absolutely a divider and a terrible president. And when he did the Iran nuclear deal, he gave them a path to a nuclear weapon within a short period of time. They would have had a nuclear weapon a few years ago, and they would have used it on Israel. They would have used it on the Middle East. And you saw that when this all started. They had no tremendous problem with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And you take a look, and UAE, Kuwait, Oman, they had no problem with them. They were doing fine. And yet they hit.
Does anyone ask a question? Let's see.
Them with, in the case of missile, is they were going to hit the Middle East, phone call, crazy detour. We have this. But
just a monologue. Our White House, everybody, look at these lines, and they're straight up blaming the Democrats for the shutdown, but it's pretty ridiculous. 9 hours people are waiting and having to wait outside. 100 degrees. Crazy stuff. Okay, here they're blaming, and then they're saying criminal alien. People don't believe it anymore, dude. So here's one 2 hours ago, Trump with the middle finger, but we saw the reply, or the what Grok thinks it could be. This is possible. Is it Marco? These things are. And then this is the next one, MAGA, he's holding something. What the? Why are they doing this? This is so immature.
Boom! 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 Mr. President, it's time.
Okay. Iran lost their Navy. They've lost their Air Force. They have no radar. We won.
I was like, did they post the Epstein photo? There's Vance. Maybe I'll post my video in here. One of the ones I made today.
Test. I took it 3 times. It's actually a very.
Not the one I wanted to put. See, this one's it. Yes, it is. Haha. Okay, pause it. Uploading. Okay, let's switch over to screen 2. Let's look at the president's Truth Social while that my thing is uploading on this side. So, you know what? That's a bad idea because I'm streaming, so that's not going to go well. So Trump's last truth was 4 hours ago. He's talking about the International Olympic Committee, their decision to ban women. And then he's talking crap on Chuck Schumer and the left and immigrants. Per Iranian government request, please let this statement serve to represent that I am pausing a period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Very specific. Talks are ongoing, and despite erroneous statements to the contrary by fake news and others, they are going very well. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I feel like he's going to attack before that. I think the Iranians know that. They'd be stupid to not expect that and to not be ready for that. Terminate the filibuster. I've seen enough. Senate is broken. Okay, so that's what we got from his Truth Social. It's not as weird as what we're getting from the White House, with these pixelated. Are they NSF? Or here's another one. Let's see. I don't know what they're saying. Is it aliens? People are saying? Wow. All right, so that's kind of the White House's. Let's see what people on Twitter are saying about this. The White House posted two mysterious. That was 20 hours ago. I wonder if there's anyone with any clarity recently that's posting about this. Did the White House account catch a virus, putting out tweets featuring backmasking audio, which for decades has been associated with occult satanic messaging? Wow, that's kind of dark. The White House is schizo posting, and it's just going to be, we sent the troops to Iran. Global economy crashes. Yeah, so the White House is how mature that the White House is. Feels like they just constantly lie to us, and then they're just not even sending real messages on Twitter. They're just posting weird. I guess it could be considered cryptic things. U.S. Treasury to add Trump to, I believe it was a dollar coin. I heard. Oh no, it says dollar bills. What? Oh, Trump's signature. Okay, I know he's going to be on a coin as well. The U.S. Treasury announced that President Trump's signature will appear on the semicon July 4th, 2026. Try to use that at the store. There it is, everybody. It's going to be, there's the no auto pen, Donald Trump. President confirms intel reports on Iran's new leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. Trump shared during a phone call on the 5 that agencies like the CIA briefed him on claims of Khamenei's past male relationships, first reported by the New York Post, citing U.S. sources. The 56-year-old succeeded his father, Ayatollah Khamenei, killed U.S. airstrikes on February 28th amid reports of internal doubts over his personal life. Trump linked the rumor to jabs at pro-Palestinian protesters and boasted of his strong support while pursuing a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Let's hear the shit he was talking.
You kind of suggested that we'd knocked out Ayatollah Jr. Have we? And did the CIA tell you that Ayatollah Jr. is gay?
Well, they did say that, but I don't know if it was only them. I think a lot of people are saying that, which puts them off to a bad start in that particular country. You know, I sort of have to smile to myself when I say I see people trying to defend the Palestinian regime for women for Palestine, but they kill women if you don't wear a certain if you don't wear a certain cloth all over your face, you have no chance of living. And, you know, when I look at gays for Palestine, but they kill gays. They kill them instantly. They throw them off buildings. And I'm saying, Who are the gays for Palestine? And they have a significant amount of gays for Palestine. Now, I think I did very well with the gay vote. Okay, I even played the gay national anthem as my walk-off. Okay, for my campaign, and I think it probably helped me. But I did great with no Republicans ever gotten the gay vote like I did, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. Perhaps it's because I'm from New York City. I don't know, but the gay national anthem was my walk-off, and I think it probably.
Trump likes the gay national anthem. There we go. Rubio heads to G7, I guess. Oh, okay. I didn't even hear about this. So Rubio departed for France on Friday for the G7 minister meeting. So that means Lavrov is going to be there, I believe, right? Or is Russia kicked out? Was it Secretary Rubio to G7? I don't work for France or Germany or Japan. I get along with all of them on a personal level, and we work with those governments very carefully.
I'm here on behalf of the United States of America. I look forward to meeting with them. I don't know what reception I would get from them. I think they should be happy that I'm going.
Well,
if not, we don't have to go.
They might be happy, but they're not happy with what's going on.
Well, again, I'm not there to make them happy. I get along with all of them on a personal level. We work with those governments very carefully, but the people I'm interested in making happy are the people of the United States. That's who I work for. I don't work for France or Germany or Japan. These are all good people. We're going to have great meetings. But I work for them. I'm here on behalf of the United States of America.
So I'll just read a quick war update that I wrote just right before the stream, just so we're kind of caught up. So as far as day 27 of the escalation of the war in Iran, so there's fresh strikes going both ways. Iran fired another major missile drone attack overnight. There is widespread damage across Israeli cities, including confirmed kill of top naval commander in the IRGC tied to the Strait of Hormuz operation. Netanyahu has ordered 48-hour, two-day surge on Iranian missile strikes, weapon factories, and high-value targets to maximize damage before any pause in the war. So Netanyahu's trying to throw everything the next 2 days. Let's see. More of the same, really. Trump had some big moves today in the cabinet meeting. He said Iran has to get serious. He's posted on Truth Social that talks are going very well. Iran, the gift that he alluded to, he said that Iran gave them a present. I believe it was about 10, was it 6 or 10 ships that they let sail through the Strait of Hormuz. So Trump said it's a little bit of progress, but he also said we can just keep blowing them away. And then we had 1,000 more troops deployed as well. So Secretary Rubio says the Strait of Hormuz could reopen tomorrow if Iran allowed it. Okay. All right. So that's the news on Rubio. Go trending. And then there's some accounts I want to check as well. Is no one talking about the White House stuff? Calls grow in Iran among hardliners for nuclear weapons. Good old hockey brawl. These are always good.
It's a perfect textbook step up. And now Nurse and Howden are giving each other some jabs.
There we go.
We have melee. And now Lausanne gets back into it along with Theodore. Lausanne's got Dickinson tied up. Szymanski took a spill.
Hockey fights are great.
At the end of the first. And they're not
He's
making
choking
dinner
him.
reservations at Carbone
punch.
after. This is real. Howden is getting taken down on the net by Darnell
Golden Knights
Nurse.
in Edmonton.
Polisar drags
Damn,
him off. This is mayhem. Howden's got to be careful. Nurse is a tough customer. Howden, who just got in a fight on Tuesday against Winnipeg with Mark Scheifele, somewhat of an unexpected bout. Everyone in the middle. He thought about going flaring here. Blowing this time point. On Theodore. Lausanne on Dick. Chaos and a full-on brawl that began with this hit.
Hit him high
from
in the
Lozano
head.
Dickinson.
Maybe a touch high, but we were seeing kisses blown. We're seeing big hits. We're seeing fights.
That's just a let's fight. Why do you fly so hard?
On Theodore right after the whistle. Nurse and Howden were going at it right in front of my perch.
Oh.
Down between ice level.
You could have punched him into the.
And there's hatred here. Absolutely.
You could have punched him in the head into the wall.
They know what's at stake.
He's just grabbing him.
The linesman gets
Lozon is just trying to mess with him.
Stick on the right side. He might even need repairs. Nobody's safe down here.
I need to watch.
Level on the strip here in Las Vegas.
I need to watch more hockey, man. Macron arriving, or is that Rubio arriving in France? Is that what it said? Can't see his face. Brianna Morello. President Trump signed an executive order today asking federal contractors and subs to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't know if that's a problem in construction. I saw some stuff about Joe Rogan today, so he had I think he had what's his name? Dave Smith on? I think he had Dave Smith. I'm gonna listen to that later, but this account posts a lot, but I can't find the I'll just search for it.
Things. Any political party that is pushing for that combination.
Tiffany just clowning on Trump. Oh, okay. All right. So let's go to Alex Jones. See his page, Harrison.
I know people misinterpret it, but it's ancient text. The people are there. Like you read Ezekiel, like 3 burning wheels land.
Yeah.
There's a blue firmament over its head. It gives me something to take. I take it.
This is I believe this is Alex Jones on Joe Rogan talking potentially about the Antichrist or the Cabal. I don't know. Let's see.
Bible says, the Old Testament, New Testament, which is pretty powerful. I know people misinterpret it, but it's ancient text. The people are there. Like you read Ezekiel, like 3 burning wheels land.
Yeah.
There's a blue firmament over its head. It gives me something to take. I take it, and I'm given the full data of the plan that the genetics has been infested, and God must destroy everyone.
Do you think that's an alien story?
Oh, it's 100%. But
that's what they always talk about. They always talk about that being an alien story. That's one of the primary stories when they talk about the Bible. Ezekiel's vision, a wheel within a wheel. They always talk
but if you
about
read
that.
it, it says floating off the ground in the Hebrew.
Yeah.
And the King James is pretty clear too. Floating comes a thing with a crystal firmament over its head. And then the face is shifting different creatures. It's like a video screen.
Well, if you think about how long it would take for an alien to get here, it really only makes sense that unless they have a constant base
they
here,
send a robot.
They visit, or if they came by themselves.
Bible.
Do you feel like people are talking about God and spiritual matters more than they did 10 years ago? I mean, clearly they are. Where's that going?
I saw you with a guest a few weeks ago talk about, this is well known. I talked to everybody that's done it. I haven't done it. Almost everyone that takes DMT, either from the toad or the ayahuasca plant.
Toad or the ayahuasca. Alex is so funny.
These creatures show up that look like court gestures or space aliens, different things, and say, there are too many humans. You need to wipe out the population. Then you'll become gods. It's the same message. And they've had groups of people. They've done studies.
You need to wipe out. You need to kill people so you can become God?
Yes, you need to depopulate and you need to transcend.
Do you know people who've heard that message?
Oh, absolutely. They've had whole groups and studies that have had group hallucinations of this.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the most spiritually sensitive person. I'm hardly a theologian. But if some demon is telling you to kill people so you can become God, like, we can say that's bad, right?
Absolutely. And the people that then, you're talking about tech heads, who, microdose are big in hallucinations and big into hallucinogenics. When they get more advanced and deep into it, and then lots of them have talked about this, group, then the things start giving them more ideas and explaining the system they're going to build, the AI, the takeover, and this new species, and how, again, you're going to transcend death. And so we've all got to have a larger question there. So they say the devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. I think that's the second biggest trick. I think convincing the world that good doesn't exist is the devil's biggest trick.
Yes. Can you flat? I think that I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, but I know that you're telling the truth right now. Can you?
Well, convincing us that there isn't anybody good and that you don't have power and that it's all over and we are the Borg, you will be assimilated. The biggest trick is hopelessness when we're promoting truth and justice and honor, and we can't just dial into demons and fallen angels. We can also dial into God and get that message. But you first have to recognize that good and evil exist.
Yes.
And once you recognize that we are ethereal beings, that we are just manifesting ourselves in the third dimension, that all these people that are even atheists have these near-death experiences that come back with the same message. I mean, I personally in my life, have had so many times where I'm literally told something and it comes true and it just comes from God. And so I know this is real. We are a lot more complex than just what our eyes and ears and taste and touch pick up. And when you really actually study.
Alex is great when he's not drinking. I'm pretty sure he was very sober for this Tucker thing. And he's great when he is drinking, but I mean, he can be taken pretty seriously. Like, look, he's packed with information, it sucks to see him struggle sometimes. But I think he's a strong guy,
The globalists, none of them are atheists. They're into the occult.
Exactly.
And they believe they're interfacing, even at Skull and Bones. At Yale, they get in these coffins for days. They try to get these spirits to come into them. They try to channel these spirits. You've got the heads of Skull and Bones there in the last.
So George W. is famous Skull and Bones guy, and it's rumored that he's the one that took Geronimo's skull. So over at Yale, to get initiated into the fraternity. Skull and Bones, one of the most secretive ones. It's kind of like Freemasons. It's one of those things that, little is kind of known about. It's like a secret society. And apparently he is the goat of that secret society, Skull and Bones, because he stole Geronimo's skull. And apparently it is in their frat house, which no one can go into. It's located on the court right outside of Yale's property, I think within the block or two.
2 days seeing who's able to interface with this. These are real rituals that are part of activating parts of the mind so that people can see past the veil. And again, they've now been able, with robots and computers and wires in the brain, as Elon's talked about decades ago, this was already done. Your eyes narrow the light spectrum because there's so much going on that if you saw the infrared and everything else, it would be too confusing. But now with hallucinogens and other things, they've been able to prove that people can actually see past the veil into basically other dimensions. And so that's really what this is. We have to admit to ourselves that what we see and taste and touch and everything is a very small piece of actually what's going on. And that's that wider world. And people have to, once they understand that there is this wider battle going on, then you realize, oh my God, God's real. I better choose God or I better choose the devil. But if people are kind of embedded into this and just grow up in it, and just with the corporate media and life, they get trained into the evil side, never knowing they really had a choice. But almost everybody, if they're given a choice early enough, will choose God that right way. The problem is the system on earth knows that. So the priest class in Christianity or Islam or Judaism, any of it, most of it's bad priests, bad churches who know the power's there, know people are looking for God, know they're seeking. So they're there basically to get the power from you instead of you basically transcending spiritually. And so that's why Christ talked about the relationship with God is personal.
Yes.
And the kingdom of God is within us. The New Agers go, oh, you are God. No, kingdom of God is within us. We're made in God's image. We have the potential to know God, to interface with God. That's worship God. And then through that, begin to transcend to a higher consciousness, interfacing with God, not God, but with God, and then part of God.
Alex, full of wisdom. Check this out. So I was wrong. It wasn't George W. It was Prescott. So according to legend and historical investigation, Yale University secret society members Skull and Bones are believed to have stolen Geronimo's skull, along with other bones and personal items from his grave at Fort Sill, Oklahoma in 1918. Group allegedly included Prescott Bush, father of President George H.W. Those members of Skull and Bone Society, they dug up his tomb allegedly. It is in the clubhouse, the skull that remains in New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale is located. 1918 letters from one of Skull and Bone member to another stated that the skull and other bones were safe inside the tomb. So a 2009 lawsuit, Geronimo's heirs sued to regain the remains, identifying Prescott Bush as the grave robber of the group. This is Mr. Prescott Bush. He wasn't FBI director. What was he? He was just Wall Street banker, money man, controlled the world, Prescott Bush. But okay. That was a cool little side quest.
Are 80.
Wait, you haven't seen this?
That's him.
Holy.
Your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child, and the grooming of children, right?
Well, you mean like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
Sure, that's a yes. Is that a yes?
He's too fucking funny. InfoWars was good. It's just we can't listen to Alex for 14 minutes. 9 year. I'm trying to find the segment where I can fast forward. Breaking news: Trump says attacking Iran is insane and contribute. So this is pretty good. This is Trump saying all the stuff that contradicts himself.
Directly. Don't shake your finger at me and tell me I'm not an American, pal. I'm related to the people that conquered Europe.
William the Conqueror.
And I'm an American, and this is our country. And you don't tell me I'm not an American, punk. Don't you do it. Sack of shit. We got a new Trump here. They bubble wrapped him. And you see, he wants the off-ramp. The Iranians don't. Let's play a short clip of Trump talking about globalism. Here it is.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad. Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Our policy of never-ending war.
Warmongers and neocons, huh?
Regime change and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests. There you go.
All right, let's stop there.
It is the job of our...
I can play hours of this. Vote for Kamala, it's war with Iran. The neocons, who is the chief neocon in America now? Because the other one's dead, Rumsfeld, Cheney, all of them. It's Mark Levin and Benny Shapiro and Dan Borgino, or whatever his name is. Bongiorno. And
Boyardee.
That's where we are. And they are the good guys, and those of us that supported the old Trump, actually did what he said he would on foreign policy, we're the bad guys. Okay, great. Were we right about what was going to happen? Oh, we were. Publicly. But the neocons say, no, we're all liars. Bongino says, what does Jones know about the military? Well, what's a New York cop, Secret Service guy know, buddy? What's a fission fusion reactor? What's an X-ray laser? What's a DU meteor gun sabot? What's a hydrogen bomb? Nuclear reactor fueled?
I got to make a short of Alex doing this on for YouTube, and then I'm going to add pictures to it.
Expansion weapon. You don't know jack shit, pal. I knew more about this stuff when I was 10 years old than you do. So, and that's why I'm tomorrow's news today. And I'm not in competition with you, but you want to lord over everyone like you're God. And like, who's this guy that just fell off a turnip truck? Does this guy think he's Alex Jones, Bongino says? I got clips of him. I just was the detonator and the initiator on record, the Rand Corporation, the Rockefeller Foundation. It's public. Decades ago saying I must be stopped or I'm going bitches. And I don't toot my horn to toot it. It's like to literally have these nobodies come in here and tell us we're traitors when we've got the pedigree, the long term, all of us. You want to call back a shit? It's cool, but I think it's great. a ton the raffle. Years ago, they sold America First Tactical Trench Knife, America First Limiters,
and America Last Globalists and the deep state. These globalists want to squander all of America's strength.
So Trump said all those things about the globalists and war hawks and plundering American treasure and sending our boys to go die and everything.
Blood and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment.
Lies, total lies. Right now, everyone is seeing what the reality is. Alex Jones issues emergency message to Trump to turn his ship around and save the country.
And knows the deal won't even be upheld no matter what it is. That Trump is going to send in, and I mean, I should make a bigger deal about this and be very clear. Let me just start over, because that's the headline today is put it back up. My sources are that the Marines and the Army, and it's not just what you've heard has been sent over the 7,000, it's more than that in the region. 40, 45, 50,000, maybe more.
Alex is pretty plugged in, guys. That is pretty shocking news. So it's not just the ones that we've heard about. He said it's probably 40 to 55,000. There's also a segment by Matt Bracken last Friday. Maybe I'll pull it and make a video about it, where he outlined with very good maps. He's a military guy. I forgot how high up he went, but he's got a lot of know-how on where our troops would probably attack, and it's probably not Karg Island. Everyone views that for the most part as a suicide mission because it's hundreds of miles up the Hormuz Strait. Anyways, I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, let's keep listening to that out.
Are being prepared to be sent into the Strait of Hormuz, not just a couple islands. Now, how did I know we were going to hit Venezuela? Because I talked to folks, and they had them in the air multiple times saying you're going in, and then Trump last minute would turn them back. There was a lot of reasons that happened. That was actually good military strategy, because then the Venezuelan communists and Cubans that were the main security force got lackadaisical. But grabbing somebody out of a building, though that was daring and incredible and successful and very dangerous, is nothing compared to this. That's tiny operation compared to this. But remember, I told you on a Thursday, from all the rhetoric, the build-up by intel, because even the military people don't know exactly, but they can see the signs and have been told it's about to happen. I said, I think they hit them Saturday evening, U.S. time, like 6 o'clock when it's middle of the night over there. And that's when the U.S. was going to hit, but Trump was thinking about not doing it, which I told you, now it's come out, that's confirmed. So Israel went ahead and launched the attack half a day earlier to make sure we did. And I told you to the day again, just like I did 3 months before Russia invaded, February 22nd or 24th, 4 years ago. I could just see the planets aligning and the intel and Russian doctrine not to go any later than February and the buildup and just all of it. So when I tell you this stuff, I'm not pulling it out of my butt. Trump is being advised, you've seen Lindsey Graham on TV saying, oh, the Marines can do it. Well, it was 110,000 Marines and other support troops that took Iwo Jima. Took them a month. We lost 20-something thousand soldiers, fighters. Could 2,000 Marines go take a base? Could 2,000 Marines go in and take an objective? Yeah, but you can't go into a giant, complex area with all these enemies, and you've got to bring it in, you've got to support it, you've got to go in, you've got to kill these people. And they're going to fight you. And it's on their territory, and there's hundreds of thousands of them in the Strait of Hormuz alone. I mean, this is the biggest setup ever, because the neocons know, they're giving Trump bad advice, that when our military goes in there, they're going to be stuck on the beach, they're going to get hammered, and the helicopters and the fighter bombers, they're going to knock a bunch of targets out. And yeah, for every Marine, for every Army soldier they kill, I bet we kill 10 Iranians. They don't care, because they got 100 times what we got. It'd be a bloodbath if we sent 50,000 Marines into the Strait of Hormuz. Why do you think the Navy, when Trump said, oh, we'll escort ships, they went, we can't do that? Why do you think the Navy stays back? And Trump says, China, you come with your ships and guide people through. They got a defense treaty with They're supplying them with weapons, Trump. How embarrassing is that? And I don't like to say that, but it is. We can't just back it mindlessly and then have him think delusionally the bad advice being given because he's being set up by Israel and BlackRock that want to destroy his recovery. This is COVID 2.0. That's what COVID was for. They've admitted it, to shut down our recovery. The globalists want everybody poor. They want the whole world to collapse because they're the banks. They're going to bring the new digital currency, the end of the dollar, and with a social credit score and universal basic income to control everything you do. They say. The head of all the central banks, the heads of the UN, all the groups say this is for total control. And that's where we are. And Trump was trying to save the dollar and do all these moves that were good. And he explains why he do this 5 days before it happened when they gave him the report from the intelligence agencies, the Pentagon, Navy intelligence, Defense Intelligence Agency, all of it, National Counterterrorism Center, saying don't do it. And then we tell everybody it's going to be horrible, and then we're traitors, and it's going to be a 4-day war. And those of us that are right, we're the Nazi coup group trying to overthrow the government. No, it's Israel and the globalists and the big banks that want to bankrupt us and want to derail America forever. That's their plan. They position us for that. They're pissed off that loyal, informed Americans are out here advising the public about what's happening. And we have Congresswoman Mace and others, very respected, good people, saying, I can't tell you it's classified, but I've been briefed, and no boots on the ground. They want boots on the ground. They're about to send boots on the ground. Yeah. And when they do that.
So Nancy Mace did say, I believe, that it seems like boots on the ground for sure. I found the Matt Bracken video I was talking about. Let's keep listening to Alex, and then we'll go into what some of that boots on the ground may look like.
We're already in full war, okay? But when they do that, the Iranians are going to hit the desalinization plants.
No water.
Up to 9% of the water in these countries. That's where they get it. You already have a bunch of Arab countries that were pro-U.S. saying, no, now we're against it. Because Iran is suicidal. You see, there's a thing called a Pyrrhic victory. And a Pyrrhic victory is where you defeat your enemy, but you collapse. The British Empire, on record, they don't even dispute it, started World War I. And it bankrupted them. They beat the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but the British Empire was bankrupt and began to fall apart after that. That was a Pyrrhic victory. The globalists want America out of the way. Their plan failed. Trump saw an opportunity to come in to take it over. I thought that reform with a new order, the international system. Instead, it's just become the Zionists coming in and bragging that they're going to run with the American empire as their. It's like Master Blaster.
All right, guys. I have the InfoWars is going down for a little bit, but it'll be back. Check this out. There's some really good information. It's too long of a video.
If you look at that, there's two islands at the north end of the Strait of Hormuz, Keshem Island and
So this is Matt Bracken last Friday on InfoWars. I believe it was the third or fourth hour. And he breaks down, explains what he thinks with his military analysis would be the attack plan, what's off limits, what would be a suicide mission, and where we could attack.
Rock Island. And you have to, if you're on a ship leaving the Persian Gulf, you have to coordinate with Iran and drive between those two islands in that narrow little gap, nice and slow, where they can talk to you and look at you with binoculars. So people will say, well, Matt, the Marines are coming. They can take those islands. Keshem Island is bigger than Okinawa. Okinawa was a 3-month battle in 1945, the spring of 1945. 12,000 American troops died taking Okinawa in 3 months. Keshem Island is more rugged than Okinawa. There's 1 million people living on it. We are not going to be able to open the Strait of Hormuz. We would have to carpet bomb 1,000 nuclear bombs all the way across the bottom of that. You know, the people, I think, just don't really understand the scale of things. You can put up number 3. It's called Iran and Vietnam. It's the gold-colored maps. That's it. South Vietnam is 1/10 the size of Iran. We had 500,000 troops in Vietnam in 1967.
500,000 troops in an area that's 1/10 the size of Iran.
1968 at the height. 500,000 troops. That little part of Iran that I shaded is the size of South Vietnam. And we think that we're going to send 5,000 Marines and make a dent in that they can have thousands and thousands of missiles and drones. And if somehow we had a magic discombobulator that turned off drones deep down in caves, they would be able to fire torpedoes that are already underwater. There are sea mines that launch themselves from the shore. We can blow up everything we can see, and it won't make a difference. If people say, well, Matt, you can't compare World War II. Our weapons are so much better. This is sophistry. This is sophomoric. This is really foolish. In warfare, I don't care if you're talking about, the Greeks and the Spartans, the sword and the shield evolve in tandem, the offense and the defense. Sometimes there's a jump ahead, like the machine gun coming out, and maybe some people are still trying a cavalry charge, so they get slaughtered. But in essence, the sword and the shield evolve together. At this point, we're kind of back to World War I, where even in Ukraine, nobody can just do a blitzkrieg, and cover 100 miles with an armored column. The Schwarzkopf thing, that is over. That's done. So if we're going to send ships through the Strait of Hormuz, it's going to be a shooting gallery. Okay. That if we go to war with Iran, the world economy is going to crash because we'll have effectively put a tourniquet around our neck, which is also known as hanging yourself. The amount of stupidity that I see, mainly in comments on X, which I take as kind of representative when you see like 10% of people have the same kind of idea. Well, we don't need no oil. America is oil independent. So screw the rest of the world. If they all starve in the third world because they didn't get fertilizer, they didn't get oil to run anything, who cares? America will just do fine. This is a really pretty stupid idea because, number one, the entire world is blaming us for this. This is why our NATO partners are saying, hell no, we won't go, to President Trump. This is not a NATO war. Number one, it's nowhere near the North Atlantic, obviously, but we didn't consult them. We did this with Israel. Marco Rubio has said it. Trump has said it verbatim at least twice. That we did it because of Israel. Period. Joe Kent is absolutely right to say that stating the truth that this is a war for Israel. That's where we had negotiated on Thursday.
So Bracken is on the boat, as many people are, that this is a war for Israel by the Zionists who have infiltrated the president, and so that's what he's getting.
Thursday and Friday. See you on Monday. Keshem Island is bigger than Okinawa. Ship leaving the Hormuz. If you can put up number 2, which is called Trump's Hormuz toll booth, that the Iranians have obviously been planning for this for years. There are 2 islands at the north. If you look at that, there's 2 islands at the north end of the Strait of Hormuz, Keshem Island and Larak Island. And you have to, if you're on a ship leaving the Persian Gulf, you have to coordinate with Iran and drive between those 2 islands in that narrow little gap, nice and slow, where they can talk to you and look at you with binoculars. So people will say, well, Matt, the Marines are coming. They can take those islands. Keshem Island is bigger than Okinawa. Okinawa was a 3-month battle in 1945, the spring of 1945. 12,000 American troops died taking Okinawa in 3 months. Keshem Island is more rugged than Okinawa. There's 1 million people living on it. If you look at the topography of Keshem Island, it's like the in Utah, there's Needles Parks and the ravines, the Badlands of North Dakota. It's the best fighting terrain you can imagine. People think we're sending 2,500 or 5,000 Marines as if that's like throwing a drop into a bucket. That's like trying to put out a raging house fire with a squirt gun. It's a joke. Okinawa took 5 divisions. A division is 10,000 men. 3 Army and 2 Marine divisions, 3 months for Okinawa. That Keshem Island is bigger than Okinawa. That Larak Island, the small one, is bigger than Iwo Jima. So this is why we are not going to be able to open the Strait of Hormuz. We would have to carpet bomb 1,000 nuclear bombs all the way across the bottom of that. The people, I think, just don't really understand the scale of things. You can put up number 3. It's called Iran and Vietnam. It's the gold-colored maps. That's it. South Vietnam is 1/10 the size of Iran. We had 500,000 troops in Vietnam in 67 and 68 at the height. 500,000 troops. That little country, this is Navy.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. There's a point.
Obviously, we're the British Navy. We're going to sail right on past. Well,
This is cool. This is the choke points, global choke points. So you got
region, the Dardanelles. That's the part of Turkey where
Panama,
where it's another strait,
Suez.
Strait, that leads from the Mediterranean up into the Black Sea with a Marine major. The Iranians are not going to guys and
package yourselves where they can't.
Too long of a video. He had another good point in there that
of Israel, period. Joe Kent is absolutely right.
We already listened to this.
While people are sleeping.
Great. Check the White House X account again. See if they posted any other creepy stuff lately. No, this is the last one an hour ago. Okay, thank God. Let's see some of these highlights.
By lying us into this stupid war on behalf of a foreign country, that coalition is still ripe for someone else to pick it up and run with it. And that's kind of what I'm hoping. I hope Thomas Massie runs for president. I think, by the way, they're doing a big money bomb for Thomas Massie on March 30th. And I think him winning re-election in Congress is like the most important political election.
Massie would be great. I mean, I'm not saying I want him to be president, but if he needs to be in our politics, I feel like none of these politicians have any backbone or trust from any of the general public. So
in the country right now, because he's done nothing wrong except actually stand up for America first and for all the stuff that Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard and all these people ran on. And he's gotten the Israel lobby and the Adelsons, but I repeat myself, have been pouring millions of dollars into his race to try to unseat him for the crime of not going along with the.
So yeah, I'm gonna listen to this Dave Smith.
Then
but
fine.
if that
Interview
phrase
later.
Sucks. Here's the thing. Like, first of all, America is great. Make America greater, I'm down. But make America great again, and then it becomes a movement of a bunch of fucking dorks, because a lot of them are dorks. A lot of them are these really weird, fucking uninteresting, unintelligent people that have got something they cling to, and there's a lot of people that are just real, genuine patriots, and they're all lumped into this one group, and you got to accept the dorks too. Fuck that.
Yeah. You know, the phrase "Make America Great Again." I don't care. Then
but
fine.
If that phrase sucks, here's the thing.
That America, after just 25 years of catastrophic failures, launching wars of choice, wars of aggression, lying the American people into it, just slaughtering millions of people and like bankrupting this country and really severely degrading the country with these wars. The idea that we would jump into another war of choice for Israel is just too, like, this is too crazy, man. And especially when it's the administration that really ran on and promised that we want to get out of this game of fighting stupid wars in the Middle East.
Yeah, that was what we were all supporting. Yeah. That was the one thing that he was saying that was so promising to so many people that were independent, that were on the fence. They're like, this guy wants no wars. All right. He wants closing the border, which I think is a great idea. He wants no wars. That enough. Let's go.
Well, especially considering the fact that, well, like, even if there are some things about Donald Trump that maybe you don't like, but the other guys are saying we want to keep fighting forever wars, and this guy is saying we should stop doing that. That's enough to go, well, then he's better than you on net. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I endorsed Donald Trump in 24. You know, people give me shit for this. Some people like that. Some people give me shit for it. But I kind of view it like this. Like, and I will say, maybe I'm a little biased here because I love you, but I don't think I'm being biased. I really think you played an enormous role in kind of like standing up to the progressive Democratic establishment.
Yeah,
and their
Joe Rogan played
over
a
the
huge
last,
role in
decade or so. And it's really hard to kind of overstate how crazy they were, how much of a threat to this country they were. And so for anybody who wants to give shit to anyone who voted for Donald Trump, it's like, hey, man, the alternative was the party who bragged about, first off, insane woke shit, like poisoning the minds of children in a really grotesque and abusive way. They gave us open borders, flooding the country with people. They gave us all types of COVID tyranny based on pseudoscience. They gave us the most reckless foreign policy in American history, which was this proxy war on Russia's border. And they were pretending the president wasn't senile when he clearly was. Then they, in the fourth quarter, threw up a cackling retard who was not democratically picked in any process. And so, sorry, like it does make sense that a lot of people went, okay, we're going to go back with this other guy.
Yeah.
Also, there was an interesting dynamic happening in 24 where, okay, this wasn't, Donald Trump, they had actually tried to throw him in jail, maybe even tried to murder him. We never really got any answers on that one. He now had Bobby Kennedy with him. He now had Tulsi Gabbard with him. He now had, you know what I mean? Even J.D. Vance, like a lot of these people who were supposedly much more non-interventionist. There was reason to hope that maybe.
So aside from, we kind of got caught up on all the stuff with the war today. And then Trump had his cabinet meeting. He's postponing for 10 days the attacks on their energy till about April or 5th, next Friday. He claims that the talks are going very well. He also floated a 15-point U.S. peace plan that Iran has already rejected publicly. Iran's peace plan, let's see if we can find anything about that. Is basically the U.S. surrendering, leaving, and repaying them for all the damages. So, what does Professor Zhang say? Oh, it's March 17th.
Attack against Iran happened, there were these peace. This is Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and the Omani foreign minister. And
so the oil prices are fluctuating throughout. That's kind of the thing that's been stirring up the economy. Everyone is, it could cause a global recession, which most likely is probably going to happen. What does it say? Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas said that Wednesday that Iran intended to keep fighting after President Trump said Washington had proposed a peace plan. Okay. As far as the Ukraine-Russia war, just to get caught up on that for a little bit. Russia slammed over 150 drones into Ukraine overnight, knocking the power out in at least 6 regions: Odessa, Sumy, Kharkiv, and so on. Some apartment block infrastructure hit. Civilian injuries have been reported. Look at that. What city is this? Port of Primoros. Oh, this is Ukraine attacking Russia. So they, go back and forth. The ground push is accelerating. Battalion-sized assaults near Slovanansk, heavy fighting around Pokrovsk and Kostyantynivka. Ukraine repelling with new mid-range strikes and innovations, but analysts call Iran war a straight-up gift to Putin. Reason being is the finances, the attention, the resources, political bandwidth, everything is split now. Polymarket saying an 8% chance that a peace deal, that was February 16th. It's probably lower than that. I don't know. It could be higher. So see what President Trump said about this.
2 months ago, it was 31,000 people died in 1 month, Marco, right? I said, it's getting crazy. It's getting worse. Think of it. 31,000 soldiers, both Russian and Ukraine, died 2 months ago. 25,000 last month. And if I can solve that, it would be a great honor to do it. I wish it could have gone faster. I solved the other ones in 1 day. That had been going for 32 years. We stopped one that was starting. It was already started. India and Pakistan, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, a very fine gentleman.
Americans are ready to finalize the security guarantees at a high level once Ukraine is ready to withdraw from Donbass.
Коли Україна буде готова вийти з Донбасу.
In my view, the Russian side is shaping the atmosphere in its dialogue with the Americans around this very idea, that Ukraine should withdraw from Donbass. The United States will then provide security guarantees Ukraine is seeking, and Russians will certainly end this war.
Дадуть гарантії безпеки, які українці хочуть, русські точно закінчать цю війну.
More or less, This is the triangle we find ourselves in.
Of course, because American side, it's not a secret, they're very open with this, that their focus is Iran, that Ukraine is not the first priority. They shared this message with my team, and my team said that, look, but in any way we have such big, they said, yes, it's very important for us, the situation in Ukraine, the situation with the war, Russia against Ukraine, but you have to know that our army is in Iran, and that's why our focus is on Middle East.
Fairly clear there. Ukraine's kind of on their own from the U.S. So it says Ukraine launched 389 drone barrage. I mean, they're trying to fight back, but it's not looking.
Now that we are in a situation where the Ukraine to perspective, and now that we are in a situation.
This is the leader of NATO, the former Finnish president, I believe.
Where the Ukrainians are killing over 30,000 Russians per month, and the Russians are not able to recruit back. We're getting closer to the moment when there might have to be a general call from the Russian part, and I think that runs in problem. The second one is the economy, and of course 2 weeks ago we could have said that to perspective, and now that we are in a situation where.
So talks are still frozen, but Ukraine has had some luck by attacking Russian oil. 20 hours ago, Turkish oil tanker Altura en route to Russia attacked by alleged Ukrainian drones near Istanbul's Bosphorus Strait, media report. 140,000 tons of crude oil. In the cabinet meeting, Trump talked a lot about Sharpies. Let's see if there's a Sharpie meme. I'm sure someone made fun of it.
Better. It would be better. See this pen right here? This pen is an interesting example. It's the same thing. So this pen is very inexpensive, but it writes well. I like it. But I can't have the pen the way it was. You know what it is. I don't want to give too much publicity, but they do treat me well, Sharpie. So I came here, they have $1,000 pens. And you know, you hand pens out, you're signing and you hand them out, you're handing them to all these people. Sometimes you have 30, 40 people. And they were $1,000 a piece. Beautiful pen, ballpoint. 1,000, it was gold, silver, gorgeous. But I'm handing out to kids that don't even know what they're, what is this, mommy? It's kids. They're getting a pen for $1,000. They have no idea what it is. And I feel guilty because I'm like, you know, I'm by nature, I don't, you know, it's the government. I love the government like I love myself economically. I want to save money. So I'm saying, this is crazy. And it had another problem. They didn't write well. So I take it out. And I saw it, and there's no ink. And I got all you people looking, and you say, there must be something wrong with Trump. And I'm signing, and there's no ink in the pen, and it costs $1,000. This one, I called the guy. I said, I'd like to use your pen, but I can't have a gray thing with a big S on it, saying Sharpie. As I'm signing a $1 trillion airplane contract to buy brand new fighter jets, brand new B-2 bombers, of which we just ordered plenty. I can't do that with the press. Use your pen, but I like the pen the best. But I'll sign it. I could do like Biden did, you know, give it to somebody else to sign, or another pen, or maybe sign it separately in another room. But I can't use your pen. He said, well, I can make it nicer. I said, what can you do? He said, I'll paint it black. I said, that's nice. And I can even paint the White House on it, sir, if you like, in gold, almost real gold, not bad. And I can even do your signature, sir. And by the way, this was not staged. I just saw the pen sit there. I thought of this as an example of how $25 million spent by me at the Federal Reserve Building would be a better job than $4 billion.
Talked about Sharpies for 2.5 minutes. Cool. But DHS, new DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, he did take some questions. Let's see. See if someone's got the footage there. No one's got the footage of him today, I don't think. Anyways, though, so we're 41 days into the DHS shutdown, right? 41 days in, the airports are a nightmare. It's at least 4.5 hour wait. Over 480, almost 500 officers have already quit. So it's record call outs. And Trump's gonna sign a DHS order to immediately pay TSA workers and stop these crazy lines. I'm not sure if he's done it yet, but that's basically what's going on is across America, fuel prices are up and lines are long at the airports. Some airports may have to shut down if we don't get this figured out. So that's the state of the union right now. Let's check in on these college basketball scores. So it's looking like these games aren't as close. Illinois up on Houston. It's a little bit of an upset, low scoring game, and then Arkansas losing to Arizona. So I'm going to catch the end of that. So yeah, with that being said, I think we've reached the near the end of the stream. Let's see what Ro Khanna just said. Anthony Blinken lays out the facts why Obama, JCPOA, and statesmanship was far more effective in furthering. Oh, that was the nuclear agreement, I believe. JCPOA was far more effective in furthering America's national interest than Trump's reckless war. See what Anthony Blinken said. Cited me as supporting his attack on Iran and expressing regret. We didn't do it during the Biden administration, except I didn't. So this is what
Well,
Trump said.
50,000 will take 47 years. No president had the guts to do what you had to do. And we hit.
Trump's been saying anything and everything about this war to try to get people to get behind it, it seems like. And I think at this point, he's lost a lot of confidence. And you basically hear what he says in one ear, out the other, because there's no credibility. He thinks everyone is an idiot or stupid. He doesn't seem to have very much respect for his MAGA supporters, or anyone else for that matter who doesn't support him. He definitely doesn't care about. So this is Blinken saying that he never told Trump that he wishes that he had invaded. So this is when Trump makes the claim.
50,000 on the Dow. Everyone said, well, 50,000 will take place in 5 or 6 years. There's no way you can do it during his term. And I did it in the first year. Then they said, you'll never reach 7,000 on the S&P, Standard & Poor's. You'll never reach 7. We did it in the first year. We would go in like a rocket ship. The market was good. Everything was good. And then I said, we're going to have to do something about Iran because they're going to have a nuclear weapon very soon, and they're crazy. They're crazy. They're out of their minds. And we have to stop them. And I say, well, we're going to take a big hit. We're going to go through this certain route, and we'll get right back here, but we have to go and stop them. Every president should have done it. I heard that today Blinken made a statement that he should have done it. Thanks a lot, Blinken. I appreciate it. Blinken is Biden's guy, I guess. Who the hell knows who he is? He's his guy. But he came out with a statement that they should have done it. They made a mistake. They should have done it, and other presidents should have done it. Obama should have.
So this is what Blinken said, apparently. So in his second tweet, he said, for what I did say, see the clips below.
That we ultimately.
In short, President Trump made a terrible decision to tear up the Iran nuclear deal in 2017 and replace it with nothing. The Obama administration put Iran's nuclear program in a box. President Trump let it out. What would have happened if President Trump had just left the JCPOA in place? When it expired, it could have been extended or renegotiated, as with most arms control agreements. If Iran refused, the U.S. would still retain the military option with a lot more information about Iran's program because of the most intrusive inspections ever. Now we have to hold multiple ideas in our head at the same time. Once our armed forces are engaged in conflict, we should all be pulling for their safety and success. It is a good thing that the Ayatollah, who inflicted so much suffering on the Iranian people and wrought so much violence to the world, including Americans, is gone and his arsenal demolished, re-obliterated. Apparently it wasn't obliterated in June. Yes, but to what ends and at what cost, for how long? So far, we've traded 86-year-old Khamenei for 56-year-old, his 30-year younger son, empowered hardliners and sideline pragmatists. The regime could fall in 5 days or 5 years and be replaced by what? Iran apparently retains at least 5 to 10 bombs worth of uranium enriched to 60%, and probably some hundreds of centrifuges further to enrich its weapons grade. It can build missiles. Failure to participate and prepare for Iran's weaponizing the Strait of Hormuz puts us literally at the bottom of the barrel market. Stock spawns, fertilizer, helium, munitions, offensive and defensive will dictate President Trump feels compelled to declare victory and walk away. But with Iran still controlling the Strait, maybe negotiation can fix that. But with what concessions to Iran, or we can double down at huge risk. 13 service members have lost their lives, hundreds have been wounded. Iranian people are still under the fist of highly repressive regime. Iran and Russia are getting oil bonanza. America is more isolated than ever from our closest allies. Billions more U.S. taxpayers are being spent on another war, with another $200 billion requested from the Pentagon. Not to mention the failure to make the case to the American people. And Trump did say today that he's not calling it a war because he doesn't want to get approval from Congress. He shouldn't admit that, but he says it. So no, I wouldn't have done it for the record. Wow. Okay. Let's yes, Al Jazeera, this is where I wanted to go. See what they got. Developing rescuers are trying to find people trapped in the rubble of U.S.-Israeli airstrikes in Tehran while responding in Qom. There are 6 people who have been reportedly killed. Kaya Collins says the U.S. needs to put pressure on Russia to stop assisting Iran with intelligence to target and kill Americans.
Exit from the war, not escalate this further, because the consequences. We are raising this issue that we see that Russia is helping Iran with intelligence to target Americans, to kill Americans, and Russia is also supporting Iran now with the drones so that they can attack neighboring countries and also U.S. military bases. So these wars are very much interlinked. So if America wants
Trump considering an additional 10,000 ground troops for Middle East. This is presidential approval rating. Inauguration was his all-time high above 50. Now it's all-time low around 40. Disapprove was at an all-time low about 40. Now it's at an all-time high about 56. Wow. I wonder how true that is, since you can't believe anything anyone says anymore. Not even me. Don't believe me. Lebanon is getting hammered. This is Israel, I guess. Projectile from Lebanon kills at least one. Mercedes. Saudi Crown Prince meets with Ukraine Zelensky in Jeddah. All right, folks. Looks like we're all kind of all caught up for the most part on the big news for today. So thanks for joining me. I'll try to stream more frequently at a more consistent time. I had some issues today getting the stream to work, and I don't think I can really test it before going live. So I'm gonna try not to mess anything up and try to join me again tomorrow if you can. Alrighty, so thanks guys. Have